everybody. So this is not a brand new program, but we've been doing this program for maybe 1,000 episodes, but it's the first time ever that we're doing it entirely in English because I want to try something new. And well, because it's the first time we're doing it in English, I will do a brief introduction of myself. So my name is Kevin Ho. I'm a certified wine educator. Well, I'm based in Hong Kong, but originally from the US, sort of. But yeah, but I've been living abroad for many years. I've lived in France for over 5 years. So I speak French and I speak some Italian. And mostly I've been in the wine trade in Hong Kong for some years. And now I decided to review wines in English. So the first episode in English, what wine we're gonna do? I've been thinking about it, and at last I thought, okay, I should do something Asian because there aren't that many people reviewing Asian wines in English especially on YouTube, right? So the first wine I'm gonna bring is a wine from Japan. It's a white wine from Anderson Farm, and I found this wine by luck, actually, in the local supermarket. I never expected a wine like that to show up because this wine is such a small production wine. From what I read on the website, because there's very limited information on the website. From the website, it says the annual production of this wine is like a few hundred bottles. So I would guess it's from a super small producer, because this Anderson Farm, I think it's just an organic food producer. They don't even make, they don't even actually produce this wine themselves. They employed a company in Shima. Well, the grapes are of this Anderson Farm. They planted in what's it in English? Hiroshima Ken, the Hiroshima Prefecture. So and then the told to Okuizumu Vineyard in Shimane Prefecture to be vinified, and then after vinification it goes back to the farm in Hiroshima. So it's an interesting combination because usually most of the producers in Japan would still vinify their wines on site, but this one is it's an exception. I would assume that they don't have the expertise, or they don't have the necessary equipment on site, so they have to tow it to another vineyard for processing. And there's very little information on the website. This wine, 2015 vintage. You know what grape is in it? I have no idea because it's not well listed on the website. Okay, I can read some Japanese. From what I could read, what I could gather, it should be, well, a Sauvignon Blanc, presumably, because you see that is the back label of the wine, and the front label, it was. Do you show the front label just now? So this is the front label. It's super difficult for foreigners to understand this front label because it's written in a kanji. This kanji is well, there are quite a few pronunciations for this kanji, but Saiwai, that's the way they pronounce it. But it sort of means happiness, luckiness, something like that. Okay, so let's try this wine. Okay, I give it a swirl and we'll see. On the nose, it's funny that they say it should be Sauvignon Blanc, but to me, it doesn't smell like it. It smells there's a tiny bit of that grassiness, but not too much of Sauvignon Blanc, because usually from a Sauvignon Blanc, from a New World country, you would expect, a lot of grassiness, very pungent, gooseberry or some guava on the nose. This has none of that. This is a tiny bit flinty on the nose. There's a bit of flintstone to it. Totally not floral, quite mineral. Color is quite well, pale, I would say. It's 2015, it's normal, it's quite a young wine, but it's not a wine for aging, I guess. It's not supposed to be a wine for aging. On the palate, there's a lot of green fruits and some green pepper, a bit of acidity, citrus fruits. It's actually pretty nice on the palate. I think this wine is exactly what a Japanese wine is like. Usually, Japanese wines are very clean in the winemaking, and it usually give you that purity and that fruits, the pure fruits. You know, it usually displays that kind of character. Usually, I would say this one would go well with Japanese food only, because I think with the one mistake a lot of people make about judging a Japanese wine is to compare it with a Western wine, because the way they make wines, okay, wine is a Western thing. It was introduced to Japan in the late 19th century, but the way Japanese make their wine is to go with their food, is to go with their cuisine. So if we judge it as a Western wine with a Western mindset, then I think it would be wrong, because it's not supposed to be like what wine is like in Europe. It's the way Japanese people make their wine is to have their own characters, which I think is a good way. The problem with a lot of Asian countries, I would say, is China. One of the biggest problems in China is that they don't have their own personality. They don't have their own way of crafting their wine. So they try to imitate Western style. They try very hard to imitate, say, a Bordeaux style, or But the problem is it doesn't go with the local food. But this wine is a perfect example of what a Japanese wine is like. Okay, usually in Japan they have Koshu grape, which I would say better represents Japan and Japanese wine. That's the indigenous grape. This one, I would assume, okay, say on the website it says Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, I would say it's Sauvignon Blanc, because I cannot assure if it's a Sauvignon Blanc or not, because it doesn't taste like it. But still, it's by itself. If we don't judge it as a Sauvignon Blanc, we judge it as a normal wine itself. I think it has very good character, because it's very pure, it's very clean. It would go well with Japanese food, especially some whitefish, sashimi. I think it'd be great. And but the problem is, of course, for foreigners to get hold of this wine, because it's super hard to find it. I don't know if you can find it outside of Japan other than Hong Kong. I just found it in a supermarket famous for bringing in imported products. And well, it gets better and better. Actually, the flintiness, it's delivering more right now. And on the palate, there's just a bit of slight bitterness, and then the minerality and the acidity comes and embraces you. With Japanese wine, acidity is always the backbone, and I think the bitterness of it has a bit more balancing effect on the whole acidity, because otherwise the acidity would be a bit tart. It would be a bit sharp. But now it's quite balanced. It's very balanced, this wine. And then the more I sip it, the more I like it. I would give this wine a great score. I mean, it's one of the good Japanese wines that I've tasted. I would say this wine is at least an A minus, A wine. I would probably buy it again if I could find it. But remember, this wine, if you can find it, it's not a wine for aging. So drink it young, drink it fresh. All right, so that's the end of this review, and I'll be coming back for more Japanese wines. Cheers.